Feature Friday.
The freshest.
Recording.
Right, what's up, people? Welcome to Feature Friday. Efra's here. He just got back. And then we're joined today with Danny from DKDKTV. How cool. Welcome.
I'm Pyra.
Hello.
What's happening, brother?
Hello. I just took a nap. And now I'm having a beer.
Yes, that's the life.
That's the best way to wake up, man. It's the best way to wake up. How's everything? How's everything over there in South Korea?
It's been snowing a lot.
Ooh.
So I don't have a car. So I've been walking everywhere and it really sucks.
I bet it does, yes.
But other than that, I'm just doing YouTube. Same old. I don't know how familiar you guys are with my channel, but
we love your channel.
Thank you.
You guys been killing it for a while.
Actually,
thank you very much.
Been enjoying your band actually lately.
Pyra,
really?
amazing stuff.
Been listening to some of you guys.
It's pronounced Pira, but
Pira.
Pira. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, my bad.
It's fine.
No, cool.
Thank you. Yeah. We had a what do you call it? Another outbreak of COVID.
Yeah.
We did hear
nothing
too.
new, right? So we can't rehearse. So we haven't been playing for like two months. And yeah, that kind of sucks, but let's talk about the fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely. No,
brother, here in London, like we're back.
We're on another lockdown.
Yeah, we're on another lockdown now.
You guys have a new type of corona, right?
Yeah, we literally have like a new variant that's way more contagious. Like it spreads faster.
And is it very serious right now? Like over there?
We're back in a lockdown, so that just means kind of everybody's at home and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty serious.
It's actually been so fucked lately because, like, for example, Waleska used to gig all the time. And it's actually we were talking about it yesterday. It's been like
a year, I think.
I think a full year now
without live shows or anything.
Without a single live show.
No live shows at all.
None.
Everything's online.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I particularly don't like it online. Like concerts online, I don't particularly vibe the same way.
Right, because like
it feels like
so
a
we
rehearsal.
did like a mini online concert, and
I saw.
The trouble was that since I can't get the crowd's reaction, it's like, am I playing right?
I know,
you know what I mean?
I know.
Like, are they enjoying? I can't like freaking read the chat while I'm playing, so it's a little bit difficult to gauge people's energy levels.
Absolutely agree with that. It's tough. I feel like you're like in videoing like a rehearsal, isn't it? It feels like a rehearsal. It just feels very like distant, like apart. I don't know. It's weird.
I do not like it, but yeah. Am I supposed to lead a show?
No,
I don't know what I'm trying to talk about.
No, whatever you want to
honestly,
talk about.
Honestly, no one's like invited me to talk about my band before.
Oh, nice.
So that's an honor.
No, that's all right. Honestly, I really liked the music video for you did with the dancer and the sign language. That was freaking insane.
Oh, right.
Great stuff. I really liked the visual dynamics of it. That was really cool. Tell us a little bit.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Oh, I actually filmed that. Like that was me running around filming.
Yeah.
Dope.
It was a freaking workout because I did not know how to film those type of videos. So we had to kind of improvise on the spot and
learn on the job.
Right. And it was we had to do like 30 takes.
Yeah,
just to get one take right.
Yeah. Is that one take shot, like one shot, one take type of stuff? Yeah.
We initially wanted to add in edits, but because I suck at the camera movements, I couldn't find a proper way to like fit in a spot where I could edit.
I
so
see.
We just did one take all the way. Yeah.
That's hard, dude.
Yeah, that's hard for the dancer,
that is hard. That's hard for the dancer. That's hard for you. That's hard for everybody in the production team. Hats off. I loved it. I actually think that video was great. Really clever.
It's interesting, brother, because so I was listening to the obviously that your latest EP, which is your first one, right? And the one thing we were both discussing as we were listening to it, because we obviously follow DKDKTV, and we sometimes I don't know how familiar you are with the podcast, but one of the things we do is all throughout last year until now, we've been discovering kind of just different music industries and different sounds and different music from all around the world. Which, by the way, Daddy, like, it's mind blowing to me
how much music and so much talent there is out there.
And
right.
And for example, obviously the Korean industry is ginormous. The numbers it produces, the talent it produces. You guys over there, I don't know what you eat or what you do, but you're all so motherfucking talented. It's crazy to me.
It's really true.
And then you also have like little ecosystems of industries. Like the French industry is amazing. The Brazilian industry is mind blowing. It has like 300 genres. It's insane.
You get like Turkish music is absolutely freaking crazy too. It's mad.
And one of the things that you can really pick off once you start listening to like different music from different industries is like aesthetics, cadence, and kind of tendencies, right? And listening to your band was more like I don't know, kind of going back in time.
It was. It's like that late 90s alternative feel to music.
So I grew up listening to actually a lot of British music.
Nice.
Like, Oasis, Coldplay, that era of British music.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, all the songs that I write are heavily like
influenced,
basically like knockoffs almost. So for me, I think what a lot of people, I was actually kind of surprised that people said it sounded like 90s alternative.
It does.
I honestly just thought like it's Oasis. But I guess that is 90s, so
it is.
But anyway, so we take a lot of cues from British rock. We love the Beatles, we love Oasis, we love Blur.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, all the great rock bands from Britain. And I think it's interesting that you say it because like a lot of Korean indie rock is based on Britpop.
Really?
That makes sense,
You know what's crazy?
I can hear the influences now that you mention it. Now that you mention
Isn't it funny though? Like we had I don't know how familiar you are with the Korean dance scene. Like we had Mr. Woo last week. He used to dance for like Big Bang. Well, he still does.
Wow.
And a lot. The guy is just balls deep in the dance industry.
Yeah,
right?
He's great.
And he was telling us how in the dance industry there, a lot of inspiration is taken at the moment from Britain.
Yeah, from like the British
London jazz, London tap,
hip hop and stuff, and you're like, that is so weird because we take influence from you guys, and it's like so cyclical. I love it though. It's great.
I mean, do you guys know about the British K-pop band?
British K-pop band.
So there's this
Kawo for leading it.
There's a
this is
K-pop
news to me.
Group that debuted in the UK, and they claim themselves as the world's first British K-pop band.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
There's no seconds, but but the thing is, like, a lot of K-pop fans took offense to it because they're like, you can't be K-pop if you're outside of Korea.
Literally, yeah.
So yeah, like there was a whole big ass debate. I actually interviewed the group as well.
What's the group's name?
They're called Gachi. Kaachi. Maybe you should hit them up. Okay. You're gonna get a lot of views because they're very controversial.
But I'm not big into controversies. But
I would
trying to lay back, enjoy music, talk to interesting people like yourself.
But I would love to hear their take on the whole thing. It would be very interesting to see, like, how they handle all the media, how. It's always interesting to hear that.
What did they say to you with how they came about?
Well, they just said they like K-pop, and there's like one Korean girl, and then the rest are like British girls.
Oh, they're all girls.
Yeah. It's a girl group, and basically the producer behind it, she's like someone who runs Arirang TV, which is like a big TV station here.
Yes. Yeah.
And she used to be a producer there, and then she came over to Britain, and she basically created this group because she thought it was a novel concept. And honestly, like as a Korean person,
Yeah.
a lot of international fans really hate the idea.
Mm.
They think it's cultural appropriation or whatever. But as a Korean person, I'm actually kind of like enjoying the fact that other people outside of Korea are trying to replicate Korean music. I find it actually flattering. Although the
Yeah.
quality of the band, I don't know if they're like flattering levels, but just the attempt at it, like it's kind of like Britpop, like a lot
Yeah.
of Britpop came over to Korea and influenced a lot of bands here, and a lot of Korean bands. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but a lot of Korean bands call themselves Britpop band.
Yeah,
Really?
Did you
I'm
know
okay with
that?
it. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Did you
I
know
have no
that?
idea. I
No,
have no clue.
that is so
I
funny.
mean, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know why it would bother anyone. Like, cause that's the
I Me
thing.
neither. I think trends in music is so universal. Like, like
Mhm.
I personally don't take offense to it. I'm not British though. We're not
Was
British.
from South
We're
America.
from South
Oh,
America, New
really?
Zealand.
Okay.
So we came to England, and
Mhm.
but we obviously, the music scene in South America, it's very very different to what is like here in Europe. So
Right.
Totally.
but you hear the influences from everywhere around, like the indie alternative
Mhm.
bands, rock bands that were very popular in South America took a lot of influence from the British alternative scene or the American alternative scene, and made their own thing. And yeah, they still called it American indie stuff,
Right.
or Brit pop or whatever. And I didn't think it was like, to me, as I grew up with it, I just didn't think anything wrong off of it. I just
Right.
thought, what
Right.
a great way to
Mhm.
internationalize the whole genre. But
Right. I
everybody got their
I
own
I think
opinions.
I think it's great that people are sharing and interpreting different music from around the world. I mean,
Mm,
like if you take from say the Beatles, they went over to India
yeah,
to like get Indian music into their genes
Yeah, get
that's
and things
sounds.
right.
like
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah,
right.
well,
So
if you
I
take
think
Sting, and he went to,
right.
Middle East. Yeah.
Middle East to get
Uh-huh.
some different sounds to his music, I think
Exactly.
it's great.
Yeah. So I hope that people watching this don't have a problem with Gachi.
Oh,
You can say their music sucks, whatever, but don't think like what they're doing is terrible.
Yeah, like the core concept sounds great. I
Mhm.
think, yeah, like I don't see what's wrong. Maybe the idea needs to mature a bit more,
Mhm.
and
and so does maybe I don't know. I haven't heard him, but maybe so does their music as well. Because I
exactly.
find it as well. And I'm sure you've probably found this out yourself. But when you're creating a concept in a band in music, it has a period of maturation. It doesn't just
Right.
come.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially when
Right.
there's other minds involved. I don't know how many
Mhm.
girls you said they were, like five, maybe six.
Four.
Four, right?
For.
Four.
So that's
Yeah.
four other heads that also have to be in the same aligned
Mm,
concept,
Mhm.
and then maybe their talent is maturing as they're growing and training.
Mhm.
But one of the things actually that I find, and I've said it in the channel, so I'm surprised. I don't know. I haven't been hit with what would you call it, like a
The
barrage
haters.
of hate comments. But I,
Uh-huh.
I I have said it, like I think there's so much to learn from the Korean
Mhm.
industry,
mm,
dude. I think everyone would be dumb not to pick up things that the Korean industry does correctly. Like, for example, the training system. It has
Mhm.
this, it's a bit intense, and fucking hell, some of those
Right.
it's rough.
It's
But
kind of crazy.
yeah,
yeah, a little
but
bit.
it creates these immense and insanely grounded artists where they have a
Right.
really a fundamental skill level which is beyond any other industry.
That's right, and
Right.
I think that's why once they debut, they already like they've already gone through that process of trying to find themselves. So you get
Mhm.
a very solid first look at the product,
Mhm.
instead of getting kind of to know what is it about, and then you get all this like dislikes and likes, and you don't really get to
Mhm.
know the product per se, like it
Mhm.
happens in the Western world.
Yeah.
Like I feel that part of the training system,
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge positive,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't get to see, how they get formed. You
Flimsy
already,
concepts. Yeah.
exactly, you already get a very solid product,
Right. Well,
don't you think?
I have my likes and dislikes about that system,
Yeah.
honestly. I like it. I mean, I like the fact that, like you said, it puts out very good artists from
Mm.
the get go. They're already very polished, but also it kind of takes out the human aspect of a lot of
It's like
things,
a
I
cookie
feel.
cutter, right? It's like
Right,
rice.
Absolutely, I agree.
right. They're all like up to a certain standard. They're all up to, they have certain expectations to meet before they can actually come out to the world. And one of the things that I kind of enjoy is, when I see artists that like are nobodies,
Mm.
and then they slowly build their skill set and
Mm.
their fame. I think that kind of story is not as visible in K-pop,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as it is in other music industries. So there's like a pros and cons.
Definitely.
The indie indie persona inside of me says I don't like K-pop systems, because it's too produced. It's too produced.
It's
But at
totally
the same,
different to what you guys
right,
like, what musicians do, though. I feel
right, right.
it's also looking for something totally different. Like, you guys are sticking to a completely different concept to what K-pop is. It's like you got
Mm-hmm,
like another genre. Like, I love alternative music.
mm-hmm,
That's one of my go-to genres that I listen to when I'm working
mm-hmm,
or whatever. And I find it really inspiring when I listen to indie music or alternative,
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
there is so much experimenting with sounds. There's so much
Right.
growth. There is, um, you know, heartfelt lyrics. There's a whole thing happening. So, I just feel like there is two completely different concepts, though.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there are two different types of music that try to achieve totally different things. So we can't really judge them on the same scale. Uh, so it is what it is, I guess. But
What
as
is it?
somebody who's like, go on.
No, please, please.
Uh, as somebody who's like worked in the part of like the industry, like I used to work at a music distributor, and I also had a publisher business. Basically, we
Cool.
took songs from overseas songwriters, and then we kind of made them K-pop friendly, and then we sold them to K-pop companies.
That's awesome.
It was a very tough business. We stopped doing it, but
I'm
but
sure.
basically, yeah, like once I got to know about like the behind the scenes stuff, I kind of came to maybe appreciate like the industry aspects of it, but also appreciate less appreciate, I guess, the inhumane aspects, because I got to see a lot of inhumane stuff.
Of
Mm.
Like for
course, yeah.
example, like I saw this one CEO of a label sue his own trainees
Come
because he
on.
thought it would be clever marketing.
Ugh.
to, to, to
Ouch.
Please tell me that backfired.
I think they went nowhere.
Oh God.
So I mean, like the group went nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it didn't work, I guess. But
Dang.
like the CEO came to when I was working at a distributor. CEO came to us and said, "I got this genius promotion idea.
Mm.
We're gonna sue our trainees,
Ooh,
and it's gonna be in the
a huge
headlines."
scandal, yeah.
Right, right. And people are gonna pay attention, and they're gonna know what this group is before they even debut.
Fuck, man.
So not a great tactic. And those kind of things kind of like take away the love for K-pop for me. But at the same time, you know, I kind of appreciate nicely made things, and K-pop is full of nicely made things
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
No,
people.
totally, I
So
agree.
it's just I appreciate that aspect. Yeah.
What is it like for? Because I was actually about to ask something similar to what you just mentioned, but what is it like for, for someone who lives there and is actually
Uh-huh.
originally from there? Kind
Right.
of, you know how here, like for example, in Britain, that I guess the aspiration for every kid is like, I want to be a footballer, I want to be a boxer, I want to be that, because that's what you see on TV every time, right?
Right.
Is it like that in South Korea, like where people, because you get exposed to all these perfect people basically on TV and these
right.
great images, nicely made things, and maybe is that what teenagers aspire to be, or kids aspire to
Well, I haven't been a teenager in more than a decade, so I'm not the right person to ask how these teenagers think these days. But I think when I was a kid, like when I was a teenager, I thought of them as like completely different breed of people.
Right.
You know what I
Fair
mean? Like they're
enough.
so high up there,
Yeah.
so freaking perfect, that we just don't even think about like, oh, that's my dream.
I see.
No.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a difference there. Yeah.
That's
Right.
pretty cool.
So I always thought, yeah, I don't know, because here it seems to be like what you get exposed to, when you're a kid.
Right.
Because
It kind of has an influence.
I did high school here, right? So secondary school, and every kid, man, like kid, every kid wanted to be a footballer, because that's what you see on the television all the time, and the money sounded amazing, and
the
it looks,
lifestyle, everything about it.
it looks awesome, and so I don't know. I just imagined, like, being a singer in Korea might be like a dream that everyone might have. But that's interesting then, because they do seem like a different fucking breed of people.
They kind
Right. They're too perfect. And I think people know like how tough it is. Like you said, that's training system. It's just like it's very rigorous. I think in the school that I went to, I didn't know anybody who wanted to be a K-pop idol. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're just like a completely different group of people.
Yeah.
Like aliens, to be honest, man. Like, some of them, what the hell?
It's true though. Tell me about how your band came about. Like, what was the whole initiative about that?
Well, okay, so last year, or 2 years ago, in 2019, I had a bit of a falling out on YouTube.
Falling out of love, or
No, of love, and also falling out of like controversies and stuff like
I
that.
see.
I
Yeah.
guess because
This
you
is
guess
what-
also cover news, right? So
Right.
kind of gets a bit heavy.
We say too many things. We talk too much. It's bound to happen, Like if you talk
Absolutely.
for hours on end every single week, then it's bound to happen. So yeah, I talked a bit too much. People caught on to it, and it was a huge fiasco. We lost like lots of subscribers. And I had a bit of a personal breakdown slash just a crisis in thinking, what do I want to do? And I've always played guitar, and like when I was young, I wanted to become a musician, but like an indie musician, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, like, why don't I just join a band just to like try something different, and just to force me to play guitar more.
Right.
So I joined this band. It wasn't Pira then. But basically, we did a few gigs from just cover songs, and then one of the guys left, the bassist left, so we got a new bassist. And then I'm a very like goal-oriented person, so I wanted to set a goal early last year. I wanted to set a goal that we're gonna release like an album and some music videos this year. So basically, yeah, I got everybody, on board, and they said, okay, let's do it for real. And that's what we did. We recorded one single and then one EP. We were gonna record more, but then while recording the EP, we just got tired of it. We were like,
hard.
I don't want to fucking record anymore.
Yeah.
For this year.
Yeah, no,
so we're
it's
just
tough.
right now taking a break, just writing songs, and then once we get over the social distancing measures, I think we'll join with the rest of the band and basically record songs again.
Did you
That's fantastic.
Is the studio where you were recording, was it yours or
Oh no, we paid for that studio.
Yeah,
We
it
don't have
also
a
gets
studio.
hefty, huh? Because it's so
Yeah, monetary speaking
Dude,
is
that's
also hard.
one of the things that people don't notice. we grew up in Venezuela, right? And we grew
Mhm.
up in the music industry in Venezuela. So Bale's been singing since, I don't know, since you came out of the fucking womb. And
Basically.
and I'm a percussionist, so I
Mhm.
don't, Latin instruments like congas,
Right.
timbales,
Right.
everything that has to do with my hands. And
There
we
must be lots of jobs there for percussionists. Just from hearing Latin music.
yeah, a lot. And we toured we had a junior
Oh.
band, because we were kids at the time, right? So we had a junior band and we toured around the country for
Right.
a while, man, for like what, 10 years?
Something like that, yeah.
And and then we recorded albums as a band. Well, I think we recorded about what,
like seven
Wow.
seven albums.
yeah.
Wow.
And dude, when you're a kid, right, everything looks like fairies and princesses and everything's lovely. You know what I mean? But even then, man, like, oh my God, it would be like, put me in school and make me do homework, bro. I would take it. You know what I mean? But people don't understand sometimes. Like it's so crazy. That's why
so time consuming and monetary, like also very excruciating on the pocket.
Right.
That's why I
and
admire these
also
musicians
like
so much, man.
it's just like I don't know how it was for you guys, but for us, I think we needed a bit of more practice for for us to record, but we just went in anyways. We didn't realize. So there was a lot of like redoing the same parts over and over again. And we actually ended up kind of hating the songs at the end, because it's like, wow, we're doing this fucking song for like 10 hours. You know, this fucking part, there's like one part that's like, oh my God, we're doing it for like it's a 10-second part and we're doing it over like for like 3 hours because the vocalist can't get it, you know, like those kind of things are definitely just, you know, it's not very
in the head, isn't it? Like, it's so weird.
It's just exhausting.
It is.
But at the same time, like when you get the finished product, it's like your baby. You made a baby, essentially.
Literally, yeah.
Exactly that. And actually makes you appreciate what you've done way more. Like you hold it so dear to you. Because and the thing is, though, little secret, even when you think you got enough practice, once you get into that booth, things that you never thought would be an issue, they will be an issue. Like no matter
where
how
do I
much
breathe?
practice,
like you never think about breathing, but where do I breathe?
So true. Like the tiniest details. I totally feel you, dude.
so after some point, like there was a bit of a conflict in the team. Well, not really a conflict, but it was more like
discussions.
Yeah, some discussions. Like heated discussions. Yeah, regarding the direction of the album. So so because we had no producer, like we're fucking poor. We're our own producers. The only guy we have on the team is the engineer, and basically I was kind of leading the entire album through. But then we have our guitarist, his name is Tonghun. He's the other guitarist, and basically he wrote half the songs, I wrote half the songs, and he's a bit of a perfectionist. And I like things perfect too, but at the same time I'm also the kind of guy that's like I want things that done. Sound human. I want things that sound human, you know? Like so like if there's a mistake but it sounds okay, I would just let it go, because I felt like that added a bit of a human aspect to the record. Whereas he wanted to do everything very perfect. so there was a bit of a back and forth. And actually, if you listen to like the songs, his songs sound a lot better in terms of like just the production value than mine. But I have more pride for my songs because they sound human.
Actually, I thought
which ones did you write?
Follow You and also
that's
Awake.
funny. That's my favorite one.
Thank you very much.
And the visual, it was more like a visualizer, right? Like the video was more kind of like a big visualizer.
Right.
It was very enjoyable. It's very enjoyable.
Thank you very much.
I was gonna say all 5 songs, they've got a really nice aligned concept. from the visuals to the sound itself.
The aesthetic of it worked.
It does work. I really like it. I think you guys are headed to a good direction. It's like a sound concept of it all.
I must ask, Danny, what was because you said you put the band together, kinda. So what was the idea behind the singer when it came to, because indie, alternative bands have like the singing voice. It will become such a staple of the band.
Right.
You know what I mean? But usually what happens sorry to interrupt. Usually what happens here especially in the London scene, even in the South American scene, you get a great set of musicians, and then you get a very peculiar singer, right? That causes conversation, that maybe some people think he's awesome, maybe live he sounds impeccable. So, and maybe sometimes,
I know what you mean, yeah.
No, and maybe sometimes like, for example, dude, we've heard plenty of bands where I thought like the singer was amazing and the band was crap, and then sometimes it's the other way around. So I think finding a singer for an alternative band is one of the most difficult things, because sometimes they don't even have chorus lines.
Right.
So what was the decision behind your singer?
Well, first of all, I didn't choose a singer. The singer was already there when I joined the band, we can't kick him out.
Oh no!
Unfortunately,
he sounds good. Like for the sound, for the whole concept is great.
Right. So I think we had a lot of tweaking with the way he was singing. So personally, because I don't like perfect sounding vocals, and I also he's kind of off tune, off pitch for a lot of times on the record. Right.
Comes off sometimes.
And actually, so we wanted to, like, everybody except for me wanted to fix that in the band. But I was like, yo, we're gonna fucking leave this in, because this makes the record sound very uneasy. There's like a little bit of uneasiness.
I like that. I personally thought, when you hear especially because of the genre that you guys are going for, of course, that whole alternative experimental sound, experimental visuals, nice chord progressions, I thought the vocalist really fitted into that that perspective of it all. So my personal opinion, though.
Thank you. There should be more people like you. But yeah, I just wanted that. I just wanted that uneasiness, even though he didn't intend it. Like, he intended his best performance, obviously, but there was just like a little bit of off pitch moments, and I really appreciated those. And yeah, I just asked him to sing like he's talking, is basically what I asked him to do. And I think he delivered. Yeah,
I like that. Tell me about the songwriting process, though.
Specifically, obviously, the ones you wrote.
So off the record, Follow You, that's my baby. That's the song that I like the most. We basically, I basically had an idea for like a not a multi-layered, but more like I had an idea for a very linear song. So like, if you listen to the song, it's not like verse, chorus. It just goes like in a straight line.
Yeah, it's a very constant.
There's no repeating parts. Not really. So what I wanted was something like that, that's like very Beatles-esque. And also I took a lot of inspiration from the Beatles records, like using the mellotron and some of their chord progressions as well. So I had something like that in my mind. And then just one day I decided, okay, today's the day that I'm gonna songwrite. And I'm not a very creative person, so I have to kind of sit my ass down and just write.
I beg to differ. You don't make a song if you're not creative.
Right. But like, I can't get the inspiration out of me. It's more like I sit down, start playing, and then like the inspiration hits. It's not like, oh, I hear this melody in my head and then I start writing a song. It's not
different
like that.
for everybody, though.
Right. So that song, I basically completed in a day. I just woke up and then I said I'm gonna write a song today, and then I just like started from like 7 a.m. I think I like basically didn't eat until like 10 p.m. and just finished the song on the spot there. And the funny thing is like the guitar, I guess, riffs that I play, those were all the first takes of what I did for the song. So I actually tried a lot of different guitar solos
Yeah.
for that song, but it just felt like the most emotional. Like it just felt just true to the song, the first take. So we just decided to go with that. So I basically re-recorded that in the studio, but that was the first solo line that I wrote. And then I was supposed to meet my girlfriend that night because she was coming over from like her parents' house, like somewhere in rural Korea. So I had to go to the train station to like meet her, and then I told her this song's for you. Actually, it's not for her, but I just told her like,
this is yours.
hey, I wrote this song for you today, and she's like, oh, like I follow you. Like, I thought about you, but actually, like the inspiration behind the lyrics
hey,
is
Danny,
not
man,
about
come
her.
on, man.
Don't debunk it.
You're exposing yourself out here, brother.
You're gonna lose points with your girlfriend.
Well, she's not gonna watch this, so it's okay. But yeah, she. So the real inspiration behind it was like I watched this documentary about monarch butterflies, and actually we have a song about monarch butterflies
Yeah.
on the album too. But and then like they somehow like are they somehow are born, and then they somehow like find their way to, is it Mexico, right?
Yeah, I think they do. I don't know much about
Over
butterflies.
generations they go from like Canada to Mexico, and they don't know where they're going. I don't think so, but like they somehow, even throughout generations, they just go back and forth every season. And basically I got inspiration from that, and I
That's
thought
cool.
like you should just follow what your guts are saying, even though you don't know the destination is the basically.
Oh, it's a lovely message.
It's a great song.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned like you don't feel like you're creative, but you feel like you kind of gotta get it out of you because there's these I was discussing it with I was hearing some people discuss it in another podcast actually, and it was comedians that were talking about it, kind of like how do jokes come to them, and you know, I think one of the harshest forms of creativity that you have to actually put into paper is comedy, because you never know if it's gonna land, right? And it takes also, just like we mentioned before, it takes some time to mature, just like music does, and then until it actually becomes a thing, this beautiful butterfly you speak of,
right?
I like what they were talking about. They said something like they this whole idea of the muse, and this idea that this kind of
entity,
this entity kind of
just gets you.
Yeah, but you have to treat it with respect. So it's like you have to sit down, welcome it, and kind of be disciplined to it, because it requires your respect for it to work. So to some extent, you're kind of following fucking that step by step what these guys were saying.
You worded it perfectly, man.
I don't know.
I'm gonna use that now.
It's not my words. I think it was the comedian that said it. I think it might have been Tom Segura. I'm not sure. But yeah, he kind of explained it in that manner. Is that a lot of people think like Picasso was just born
like that,
and all of a sudden he's just creating all these amazing pieces of art. But it turns out it's also a discipline. It's also, you must treat it with respect, because creativity exists. But you're like what he thinks. It's like you're kind of like an antenna, this beacon, right? And only do the right ideas come when
if you're in the right set of mind.
But it requires discipline, control, work ethic. So it's
I think a lot of people who don't write songs have the notion that people write songs from inspiration, but I think a lot of people just sit their asses down, start writing, and then like you said, the muse comes to them.
It's a good mix of
And
both,
you
I find.
meet. Right.
I actually think more of the mainstream artists that we listen to everywhere are are the latter, you know, like the sit down, get it done, because there's so much pressure on time, labels and whatever. And it is actually more of the let's get that stuff done and experiment as we're going and try to get that inspiration in the moment, rather than, oh, the sky is blue, let's write a song about it, you know.
I wish I had that ability.
There are people like that,
but I don't.
There are people like that, for real.
Yeah.
No, but you're lying though, Danny, because you just wrote you wrote 2 songs about a documentary about butterflies. Like, sorry, that is the sky is blue type stuff. Let's be honest now.
Yeah, I guess.
And then you told your girlfriend it was about her. So hey, come on.
Right. I mean, that makes it more romantic. then it's like it's a more romantic story for the song than I saw a documentary about butterflies. But,
still poetic.
This other song that I wrote, that song is very special to me because it's called Awake. It's the last track on the album. I'm not satisfied with the recording of it personally.
The video is really cool.
Thank you, but the recording itself, I found it like it didn't capture the atmosphere very well. We didn't play all that well, but other than that, that song, it's a little personal. It's about my grandpa who passed away, and basically,
sorry about that.
You guys don't have to get sad.
Okay.
No, sorry. But last year or 2 years ago, last year, early last year, he had to go to the ICU because he was very sick, and I saw a lot of dying people there. My grandpa was fine then, but I saw a lot of dying people there, and that just gave me the inspiration to write a song that day about what do you call it? About how our life is like very fragile,
temporary,
and like these moments that we live through that we take for granted. If you think about it, these people in the hospital bed, they would die to have a day of your life, right, as a healthy being. And at that time I was kind of depressed, but then when I saw those people, I kind of realized like how they would want to be in my position, and and at that time I didn't want to be in my position. So like I was like, oh, maybe like I should just enjoy life as it is. So that song just came about then. And then I felt that song, it didn't originally have a solo, so I felt like it was a little bit bland. And then during our jam sessions, I kind of included a solo. But then after, this is a very sad story, but I think it was in September or something, we were in the middle of recording the album, and my grandpa, because it's Corona, we can't go to the hospital, inside the hospital. So my grandpa was like just about to pass away. He had cancer, and like everybody knew. The nurses called us and said like, your grandpa's about to pass away. And we all the family went over to the hospital, and we couldn't like see him inside the hospital. So like they brought him to the first floor, and we had a window there. And we were like talking to him, saying our last words. It was very sad. And grandpa knew like this was the last time seeing his family, and we knew. And like it almost felt like there was an orchestra playing. It was very weird. I never had this kind of feeling before, but like when I was saying goodbye to him and saying like my last message, it almost felt like this overwhelming sensation of all the
like
memories that we had.
Yeah.
Right. And it literally felt like there was an orchestra playing in my ear. It was very weird. And like we were crying and all, and then I had to go to the studio because we had to finish the freaking album.
Oh my god.
So that day I recorded the guitar solo for that song, and like I don't like the recording of that song, but the one thing that I do like about that recording is the solo, because I got super emotional and I just like banged on the guitar super hard, and That's the
Like
one song that,
therapy.
yeah. It really captured the emotion that I had at that moment. So if anybody's watching, please go listen to that song again with this
Absolutely.
podcast.
That is such a like I know this is gonna sound weird, but it's a nice thing. There is a very special moment when you're creating
Right.
something where you're really emotionally connected to what you're
Mm-hmm.
making,
Right.
regardless of that emotion being totally outside of what the
Mm.
concept of what you're creating is, but
Mm-hmm.
funneling that emotion into that
Right.
creation is so powerful. Though I find it makes for the most special moments
Yeah.
in music, in art and stuff. So thanks for sharing that, honestly,
Thank you.
and putting music
No
like that
problem.
out there. It's that I feel like there's a need for it in the world.
Right. I mean, like, I don't know if anybody's really gonna get the message, but just it's just for me, like, when I hear that song, it just takes me back to that time. And you know, I think of my music mostly as just a for fun thing, but like that was that one time when I was like, oh wow, like I need this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need this.
Well, and it's very cool that you did come to that conclusion yourself, because
Hmm.
it's not it's not a
An easy journey to
it's yeah,
take.
it's not an
Yeah,
easy sort of conclusion to because if somehow it's self therapy to some extent, and it's also
Hmm.
self-understanding. Yeah,
bro,
Right.
there's such a weird, and I've spoken about this actually to athletes because I
Hmm.
trained in tennis full time now for 10
Hmm.
years, and when we
Wow.
came here to London, and sometimes when you have to train and you're in the academy and you don't feel great, or maybe someone very close to you has unfortunately passed away, or you go through rough periods, man, but you still have
Hmm.
to train. Maybe you have matches, maybe you're traveling, maybe you have no one next to you, and for some reason, when I used to talk to these about my friends, because we all in 10 years you all go through really hard moments, and there was some really weird odd power in utilizing this bad, crazy emotion. It could be sadness, it could be love, it could be I don't know, angst, anxiety, whatever.
Hmm.
But there was a weird way sometimes that some people managed to encapsulate it and then utilize it in a powerful way
Right.
while they were competing or training.
amplify it.
Or
Yeah,
Hmm.
musicians and singers seem to have this capability as well of bottling it and then funneling it through a art that then in some weird fucking way creates something positive.
Right. Right.
it's really
I think
powerful.
that's why everybody should do music or some sort of art.
I totally
It's
agree.
and I think like it's see for me starting like getting my ass down is very difficult.
Mm.
I Cuz like there's a lot of times when first of all, I think like because I don't know what it's like for other bands, but because like for us, we go through stages of writing the music and then recording the music and then performing the music. Like there's different stages, and when you're like at a different stage, such as like performing the music, you rarely get the time to write new music. So like that cycle is pretty long, and once like you get back to trying to get back to writing your music, it's like it's been 6 months since written something new,
Yeah,
right? So it feels very new. It feels like you can't do it.
yeah. It
So
feels
that
like you're out of
initial,
shape.
right. It's like going back to work,
Yeah.
like going back to workouts,
Yeah,
and
go
it's
back to the
like
gym, basically.
yeah. So like I feel like I can't do it, and to sit your ass down is very difficult. But once you sit your ass down and you start making something, even if it's not good, I feel some kind of rush. Like like this is why I enjoyed doing this. So
Especially with the kind of the world you've created for yourself. And I must, this is gonna sound weird, but I find it very impressive and inspiring what you and Dave have done in in DKDKTV. It's awesome, but at the same time, the reason why I feel like it's so much pressure and stress is because it's news. You know what I mean? And you guys also break down K dramas and like one of the most when we started finding out Korean Korean pop. One of the most helpful videos were were yours,
Oh,
where
thank
you
you.
explain the videos. You know what I mean? Like videos and
Yeah.
break them down. Super helpful for dummies like me who can't see. Like this color combination actually means this, or this means you know what I mean. But
it's really cool, but I bet
I
it's a
might,
lot of time
especially
consuming.
the news bit. That's where I kind of I don't know, man. I can't imagine the stress, or then obviously because you're giving news and then you're also giving your opinion on stuff,
Right.
and as you said, we're experiencing it slowly with the podcast where you speak for hours, and the reason why I love podcasts, Danny, is because is unfiltered, authentic, and raw. So this is, I hope, that this is the most us that we can share to the world, and that's the most you that a camera can never get out of someone, because cameras change people. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like it's such a weird
Yeah.
experience.
Concept, yeah.
But that's why I enjoy podcasts. But I'd imagine, with the news shows and stuff like that, having a creative outlet also to then write and having your band must be a great way to sort of settle down and kind of
Right.
disconnect.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because like, well, I'm generally not stressed at all
You don't
about
look
the
it.
YouTube channel.
You
But
look really,
David
really
is.
chilled.
Yeah, David is very stressed all the time with what I say.
He's like, stop
So,
it.
yeah. So he's the one who's like, "Oh, we gotta edit that out," something. I'm like, "Oh, let's leave everything in. I don't care." So I'm kind of over the stage of being stressed, but David definitely is. So I try to keep myself in control. But what I like about the music that I do is that no one can judge me. So like, honestly, like I don't think like I'm not aspiring to be somebody like big. I'm not aspiring to be anybody really with my music. I'm just writing songs because I like them and I want to share them, and they come from my deepest emotions, and yeah, I just feel like they're an outlet where I can be more personal and just true to myself without the fear of judgment. So
That's great.
definitely it has helped. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
I'd imagine.
great. Tell me about how did DKDK TV come about? I'm just a little curious, if you don't
Oh,
mind.
it's just like David and I were college buddies, and basically this is a long story, but I was working in the music industry. David was working in some ad agency.
Okay.
I got tired of my job, and I quit my job, and then I did like a bike trip across America, like the USA.
You mean on a
And
motorbike or on a
no,
pedaling bike?
pedaling bike.
Fuck, you're brave.
Oh my
Two and
god.
a half months. Yeah, 2.5 months.
You're brave, damn.
Jeez. Oh my
I
god.
was
Legs of
homeless. I went
steel.
from LA to New York City. Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy, but
What?
Hey,
I came back from that.
how many
What?
people have given you that reaction when you say that? I've gone from
Oh,
LA
all the
to New York.
time.
Yeah, I
All the
mean, I'd
time.
imagine.
Right. Like,
That's
but
nuts, dude.
but after that I came back to Korea, and I got very bored of like daily life, because like I was fucking biking for 2.5 months, and then I come back, it's like fucking
What is
boring. It's too
this? Yeah.
comfortable. It's too comfortable, you know? What's
It
this
makes
warm
sense.
house?
Like, why do I have heating?
Right. Why can't I be just homeless? So
We're just homeless.
so I was very unsatisfied. I wanted an adventure, and David suggested that we do a YouTube channel, because he was also bored of his job, and I honestly didn't think we were gonna do this as a job. But I majored in media, so I knew how to like film and edit and stuff. So I said yes, okay, let's try, and it it kind of got very big from the get go. So I was taken aback, but then like I said, okay, well, I'm not gonna do anything else. I can't work for another company. So
let's take this seriously. Yeah.
I like being self-employed, so let's just do this. Yeah.
It is fun though. It has its hardships, but it also it's like really replenishing because you can actually take care of manage your time management and deadlines and stuff. They're all down to you
Is
at the
this
end
your
of the
main
day.
job? You guys' main job?
Yeah.
Not
for
mine.
for me
Hers it is, not mine.
yeah. So yeah, YouTube and music are basically my life right now. And with this whole pandemic and thing, I actually don't know what the outside world looks like.
Right. Well,
Like
actually, like
anything.
as YouTubers, we
Yeah.
don't feel the pandemic as much, I think.
No, I feel like I've been stuck in this lifestyle for
Right.
like a year now.
Right. Like it's like for me, it's like nothing different. I stay at
Yeah.
home all the time. I'm still staying at home, so
man.
I don't feel the effects of it too much.
Me too.
It's hit me hard, Danny.
Thankfully.
Like
Really?
because we do the podcast together, and we have another show on the channel, and the whole channel actually began with, as I said, like discovering new music, and then it kind of fell naturally into the whole reaction community thing because we are checking out music and stuff, but we had worked on TV in Venezuela for a really long time when we were in the band, and it just felt natural that we decided to try and make a show or a podcast or something where we could, and to discuss and talk with people like you and other artists from all over the world and stuff like that. But it hit me so hard because we've only been doing the podcast really for a year and
a little bit
and a bit, and we've only just started having guests in 2020 December time. So we started a lot with Filipino artists.
I saw that.
And the Filipino industry,
amazing.
it's fucking mind blowing, bro.
It's crazy.
That's another talented bunch of people. Like, they're crazy. It naturally talented. It's insane.
Raw and unfiltered. Is crazy.
Then we've had the awesome privilege, I guess, of being exposed to this music, and now getting the opportunity to speak like people like you and other artists is awesome. But I'm what you call in tennis a hitter, so I'm like a training partner for other players. So I was out on court 7-8 hours a day training and every day, and then we would come back, and then Bali was like, hey, let's record, let's do this.
Damn.
But the last year, obviously, because here in London it's been hit very, very hard. I haven't traveled, I haven't done anything. I'm no longer up and down the country and playing here, playing over there, or modeling, or I'm basically just here at home. So it's been very bizarre.
It's been very weird for him, and I'm out here like, hey, this is my daily life. Welcome to life.
Yeah.
Do you not enjoy that?
I love it.
As a sister?
I love it. I don't know what you're talking about. I adore it. It's great.
But it hit me hard.
The best part is the commuting to the office from your room into the chair in the living room. That's the best part. I love it. It's great. It's the greatest thing.
Right. Very, very easy commute.
Yeah, very, very fun.
So then when did you, because you obviously said it kind of, it ramped up very fast.
Yeah.
I think one of the lessons we've actually learned from you guys watching you is the power of having a concept, an idea, and sticking with it, and also evolving as time progresses, right? So we've taken a lot of inspiration from you guys.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Coming up, and when was kind of what are your goals, I guess, with in the future? Because we've spoken to other YouTubers, and it seems some of them do have like an idea of what they want the channel with, because there's still, this whole idea outside that there's YouTube as a media platform, but then it's not mainstream media. So, but us, we would know that really YouTube is where the shit is, because there's no other platform which has this many people engaged at the same time. And I think someone like Joe Rogan has actually experienced this himself, where 100 million, 200 million to go to Spotify, but it's not the same, and Spotify's trying to become competitive again in the video, actually competitive for the first time in the video platforms, but it's just YouTube. It's very weird. It's very peculiar.
It's easy to access.
It seems.
My plan, our plan as a team is we just want to have more people on the channel. So right now it's mainly me and David, but we're actually hiring a lot of people right now.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
And we want to have other personalities on the channel, running their own shows.
Yeah.
And essentially, we want it to become more of a platform than just us two. I mean, of course, we'll still be there, but like we've hit a point where just us two can only do so much.
Of
Like
course.
we're making 3 videos a week. That's I think the max that we can do. And so we're hiring new people to make videos by themselves and upload it on the channel. And of course, we'll be the ones directing everything, and making sure the content's great. But we want to be a platform, then not just a YouTube channel, and that's the direction we're heading. So we're actually trying to move out of our offices, and like move into a huge studio
Nice.
by the second half of this year. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do. And also we're hiring. So if anyone watching this is in Korea, they have to be in Korea though.
They have to be,
right.
okay, there you go.
They have to be in Korea or have a visa. We can't get your visa because we're not a company big enough to get a visa for you.
Fair
But
Maybe soon, hopefully in the near future, you know.
right. But
Right
we
now,
are
so-
hiring right now for a full-time position as a producer. So if you're interested, hit us up. DKDK
There you
TV.
go, people.
Look
There
at
you
that, man.
go.
Can you imagine if someone watching the podcast all of a sudden just gets
Yeah, we're open.
That's awesome.
That's cool. That's
what a cool
amazing.
story that would be.
Good luck with the new
Thank you.
with everything that you guys want to plan out. It sounds great, and you know, I've seen it with other YouTube personas and channels. They've evolved into that, and it's very successful, and it actually allows for the main creators, you and David, to like really try to strive for different bigger things for the
Right,
health
right.
of the channel. I've seen it several times. It's a very good move.
Right. So
Good luck.
thank you. We're starting new shows starting from next week, featuring
Nice.
other people. So we'll slowly be introducing new faces to the channel.
That's
you,
amazing.
You have our full support, Danny. Really,
100%.
Thank you very much.
It's as I said before, it's very impressive what you guys have done, and actually a lot of people, as you obviously know, enjoy. And that, you know, when we sometimes we get messages. Actually, a lot of the time we get messages like when we react to a video or when we're having a guest on the podcast, and they're all like, "Guys, remember that DKDK broke down this video. Go, you know, you can learn from them in here and this stuff like that." So
I like that.
You've obviously
I like your viewers.
you've obviously become a staple of the whole industry, really,
In YouTube, for
online.
sure. Yeah.
When it comes to Korean entertainment, it's very impressive.
It's
And
very
actually,
admirable.
I'm gonna get you into some international music as well, man. Because one of the things we've been, as I said, we've been discovering so much music, and given the fact that you like, you know, you get inspired by British pop and all that stuff,
Right.
I think you'd like some, especially if you're in the, you know, alternative stuff like that. You'd like some French bands, some Brazilian bands.
Okay.
There's some really.
Give me some names. I got my notepad open.
That's cool. For like in the jazzy stuff here, London scene, there's like not mainstream. Ruben James, so is REUBEN James. He is fantastic. He's got that soulful funk thing happening. Is great.
Guitarist, like if you're a big fan of also listening to other guitarists, someone that I'm a huge fan of. We've had no, but he's from the Philippines.
Tom Mitch.
Tom Mitch.
Yeah, I know him.
Oh, you know him well. There you go.
I think I saw a lot of his stuff. Yeah,
He's
I
fantastic.
think I know him. Yeah.
He's awesome. Someone else that you might like guitarist wise, McCoy. He's from the Philippines. McCoy Portal.
How do you spell that? How do I spell that?
No, search up KZ. So KZ.
KZ.
Tandingang. So TANDINGIN.
Gone. Yeah.
Yeah. She's this Filipino singer, and her guitarist
is freaking brilliant.
He's
brilliant.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah, he's bloody awesome. She's one of my favorite singers I think I've ever heard, and live performance. She's insane.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Like watch her stuff from The Singer when she went to The
Uh-huh.
Singer in China.
China.
Brilliant. The both of them, McCoy and Casey, arranged
Covers.
the covers in the show. So
I have a question for you guys.
Go on.
Because well, for me, like one of my issues is that I am not good at discovering new music. You know, it's tough, especially when you get older. As you get older, you know, like you tend to just listen to the same old shit.
Yeah.
It's comfortable, you know. You got your comfort zone. So because you guys said you listen to a lot of music around the world, and that's what your channel's focused on. Like what are some tips on discovering music outside of your country?
Well, I think basically is just I think for us it all started with people recommending music to us, like, oh, if you
Uh-huh.
like this you would most likely like that from another place in the world. And just being very open about it. And then I think if you're personally trying to search for music and nobody has recommended anything, try to go through like a funnel of genre.
Yeah, so
like R&B from Brazil, and you'll find a bunch of stuff that comes up, or funk and soul from Portugal, and then you'll find a bunch of stuff, and then you'll eventually fall in love with artists that you've never met before.
If you want, Danny, just drop me a text on Instagram, and I'll get you on some stuff.
100%.
That sounds easier.
That is, yeah. You don't have to change your philosophies, mate. Just fucking get a friend that knows from somewhere else, and that's it. Because that's kind of that. I don't know, man. I feel people that introduce new music, especially in it, because we grew up with music and making music, so music's been such a staple in our lives. And even when I decided to branch out, and Waleska went to training in theater training here in London for what, 4 years?
4, yeah.
To, I don't know, become a West End performer, right? And I went.
Failed dreams, though.
Hey, come on, man, you went all right.
Failed.
It was a good learning experience. And then I went the tennis route, right? So I completely focused my whole life into an athletic pursuit. And then we realized that, bloody hell, we really haven't discovered any new music in years. And there was people in my life always that have been from all over the world, especially because of tennis, that have introduced me to new music. So I find those people are really important in everybody's life.
Yeah.
So I'll just put you on some names, and then once you like, for example, if I don't know what type of music you actually listen to apart from the music you make, like what genres are you into?
I mean, I like Britpop. I like guitar music. Okay. These days I'm into a lot of hip hop.
Oh yeah. You into that stuff?
Yeah.
Damn, brother.
I feel like the most creative artists these days come from hip hop.
I couldn't agree more.
Interesting. What makes you say that?
Well, hip hop is the mainstream genre right now, I think, and it's at a point where I think the sound palette of hip hop, like people, it used to be like the message, the lyrics, right? I think we're over the message and the lyrics. Like that is not a differentiating factor anymore. So now people are starting to experiment with the sounds itself. And I feel like a lot of artists are bending what is rap and what is hip hop a lot.
You like where it's going? You like?
Well, honestly, I'll be honest. I did not like most of hip hop coming out the past decade or so. But then at the same time, I think, like, you know, rappers like Tyler the Creator, you know, they're really just bending what hip hop really is, and just what we can do with music. So whereas before, like, you know, say in the, I don't know, like the 70s and 80s, like all the experimentation came from rock music. I think that's exact thing is happening in hip hop right now.
I see. Right. I would think personally, a lot is coming out of the new era of urban music overall. You know, R&B, this modern era of like sultry type of bass lines and um not so meaningful lyrics that just kind of grow out of that main genre. I feel like there is a lot that is branching out of, but at its core, what's happening right now, mainstream, I have my likes and dislikes, and there are things
Right,
that
right, right.
I
Yeah.
hold on
I mean,
tightly to some and not so much to
what
others.
the
But
trap phase of hip hop and also the SoundCloud phase of hip hop, I did not enjoy. Like personally, like that's not my taste in music. But at the same time, like I used to be that guy where it's like, that's not music. That's not fucking hip hop.
mm,
Because I
Right.
grew up
yeah,
on like, you know, Tupac and Eminem.
True.
So like that era of like late 90s, early 2000s hip hop where I think more so late 90s, where it was about the lyrics. And if you listen to rappers now, they're like fucking
Mumbling.
nonsense.
yeah, it's mumbling.
It's called mumble
Yeah,
rap, right?
yeah, it's
Right, right, mumble rap.
Called mumble rap,
But
yeah.
but I kind of like start to appreciate how they're not even about the words anymore.
It's
It's
just
more
cadence
like
and rhythm,
the
right?
texture and like just the sounds, right?
yeah,
Right.
like
So uh-huh.
Texture. I see. So,
Mm.
right. So, well, I'm a bit like you, where I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to rap, and
Me too. I honestly like at the end of the day, the shit that I'm gonna listen to is Tupac. But I just appreciate like them trying new things.
the evolution, of course.
I,
Yeah,
Right,
I think
right.
so too.
because at the end of the day, if you look at it from that perspective, rap was always the disruptor of the industry. So it's always been
Right.
the dark horse of the industry, the people that did things their own way, the people that spoke about what they really wanted to speak
Right.
about.
The people that broke the rules.
So now it's so weird because it's become mainstream, right? In the last 10 years, that's
Right.
been the
Right.
most marketable, most popular genre in the
Right.
world. And then it's like you're starting to see that they're also breaking the rules, right? But it's becoming predictable. It's starting to
That's
become
true. That's true.
predictable. So
But I gotta say, a lot of rock fans hate hip hop and vice versa.
Yeah.
But what has rock done? I mean, I'm a rock fan. If I
yeah,
had to choose between two, I'm a rock fan. But what has rock done the past decade or so that was relevant?
Yeah,
Nothing.
literally nothing. I agree with that.
And the problem with rock fans is that they like the same old shit.
Yeah,
They still like fucking AC/DC and
they
like
do.
Papa Roach.
It's true.
Papa Roach. Yeah.
Disturbed.
It's so true though. Like I think what happened with rock is just that it kind of got a bit stuck. It
Became
didn't.
redundant.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't actually push to evolve like hip hop is doing, and push through that awkward stage where nothing really makes sense until something better
Right.
and new comes out of it. And I personally, I'm a rock fan too. I grew up
Mm.
listening to
I'm not.
Audio Slave, Papa Roach, Disturbed,
Uh-huh.
and my dad had a rock alternative band, and
Right.
I grew up with that whole uh sound, and it has influenced my music too. So I would have to choose that side of me too if I had to choose
Right.
amongst
Me too.
many
Yeah.
genres. But it's
It is kind of sad that you're right. Like thinking about it now, rock hasn't really done anything crazy these last 10 years.
Right. I think the like what's telling is like if you look at the music festivals, the rock festivals, and their headliners are
hip
all
hop
fucking like
artists.
old
Yeah.
people or hip hop artists.
Yeah.
It's either old rockers or hip hop artists.
So
It's like,
true.
oh, the Rolling Stones, they're like about to die,
Whoa, man.
but they're still rocking, you know?
That's the lifestyle.
Right. And I think like the last headliner rock band that was new was the Arctic Monkeys, which is like
Yeah.
fucking
I guess
almost 20 years old now
I
Yeah.
know.
as a
Was it-
band.
Radioactive Drag. I guess they don't really count, do they? I mean,
Who?
radioactive. What are they called? The people
Imagine
that call
Dragons.
Imagine Dragons.
Imagine
right?
Dragons. They're
But
kind of.
even then, they're old.
They
They're
are.
like,
They're not new.
they're
and-
not new.
Like from like this decade, let's say.
That's true. Yeah, fuck.
They're not. And if I am in love with a band called Beefy Clyro. They're from
Uh-huh.
Manchester. They are so freaking good. But then again, they were headliners on Edinburgh
Edinburgh Festival.
Edinburgh Festival like 2 years ago, and they freaking sold out, of course. They're really, really good rock band, alternative and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, I only heard from them like 2 years ago for the first time. I'm like, how? These guys have been kicking butts for 9 years, and I didn't know about it. And I live in the same country, you know.
What are they called?
Beefy Clyro.
Beefy Clyro.
Yeah.
See, I think the problem is, not to get too deep into this, but see, hip hop you can make by yourself. Rock, it's a little bit difficult.
Yep.
Unless you're
very difficult.
Unless you're trying to offend the the purists, and you decide to like freaking use a drum machine or some shit. It's difficult. Like, and I think the purist culture in rock has to do with a lot of the limitations that it's put on itself, because like we had people saying like, oh, Maroon 5's not a real rock band. And like I also think Maroon 5's not a real rock band. But thoughts like that are exactly why rock is at where it's at. People can't accept mainstream different sounds, and I think that is led to the hip hop being what it is right now, and rock being where it's at right now.
I think there is I think it's just hip hop has always, like you said, it's just easier to produce. Like if you look at it from a marketing perspective, it's less
cheeseburgers. You can just make
exactly.
Right,
you don't have to invest as much in the studio for the product to give you a maximum outcome, monetarily speaking.
And
with
also
the right
there's
marketing.
like the culture of like sharing mixtapes and stuff like
Absolutely.
that, which is like gives the artist a lot more less burden on releasing new material, because like for rock it's like you have to release an album or an EP, whereas hip hop artists, they can release new songs every week, every month.
And usually it's a one band person. Hip hop is a one band person.
Right.
You are your own man. Like so many artists right now, self-produced.
Nav, Rush, all these guys basically
self-produced, self-made, all from their commodity of their own houses, and making maximum profit out of their craft. It's a clever way of thinking, and I feel like the industry overall has evolved into that.
So then if you do like hip hop, what kind of hip hop are you listening to now? Not maybe you're still listening to old school classics, but are you listening to, I don't know, these modern guys like, I don't know, Lil Mosey or
well, new music. I like Tyler the Creator. That like he's my favorite artist right now.
He's good.
I agree with that. He's so creative.
Yeah.
No, for real. Like no. He's got like a weird visual of his music. Is dope.
Right. And I also like Kanye.
Okay.
I'm not like deep into like underground hip hop, so I wouldn't know too much. There's a British guy that I really like. He's kind of old. Do you know The Streets? The Streets?
The Streets.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
That's his name.
Dude.
Is he from London?
I think so.
Oh yeah, I think him. Oh, wait.
He's like an old guy.
The Streets.
Wait.
He's super old. I'm not like he's not making new music anymore.
Was his
he's a white
most
guy.
popular song?
He's a white guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He has like Dry Your Eyes.
Dry Your Eyes, yeah, right. Okay,
right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know much of him, but yeah, I've heard of him.
Right. But like the two biggest artists, Kanye and Tyler the Creator, are my favorite hip hop. And
what do you think
else?
of Kanye's gospel album?
I was not the biggest fan of it.
All right.
But I just appreciate people who try new things and try to reinvent themselves.
I actually liked it, dude.
I thought it was very solid. That whole gospel choir was freaking insane. Just for that element, it kind of won me over. I wasn't really.
What was that album before he did with like Kid Cudi and stuff?
Oh yeah, Kid Cudi.
Fuck.
Wait. Give me a second. Kanye and Kid Cudi.
Yeah, not yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just Yay, right?
I don't really remember.
Yeah, it is Yay.
It is just Yay. Yeah, it's Yay.
Yeah. So I like that album a lot. I
Right.
listened to the shit out. A lot of people didn't like that album.
Well,
I thought it was a cool album.
They've collaborated a lot
A
actually
couple of
in the
times,
past.
Right.
They also did Kids See Ghosts. That's like a little EP.
Right. Kids See Ghosts.
I just Kid Cudi, bro. To me, that guy is immortal. Anything he makes, I just seem to like. I don't know why. Literally, he made this one with Eminem. He was like that cartoon one. What was it?
I don't. Wait.
If you haven't heard that, listen to it. It came out last year. Eminem.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Kid Cudi.
I also like a lot of the 88 Rising stuff.
Me too. I like.
Yeah.
It's called.
What are the Chinese guys? What are their names?
Which one?
There's like a Chinese group. It's like these big Chinese guys.
Dude,
that are in 88 Rising.
Oh, it sounds familiar. Wait.
No, their names are
something brothers.
I like Georgie on 88 Rising. I think
right.
He's dope. He's got a weird vibe happening. I
love Georgie. Like since he was a YouTuber, I loved him. So
such a cool thing.
Right. But anyway, yeah, those are my type of music. I just like discovering like, you know, very new sounds. But I'm getting more, it's getting more and more difficult for me to do that because I'm getting comfortable. I think that's the biggest culprit. But yeah, other than that, like I listen to a lot of indie rock as well. The band that I like is do you guys know Portugal the Man?
Yes.
She's a big fan, not me, but she's a big fan.
Oh really? I'm a huge fan.
I love his stuff.
Since their early days, like before they got big.
No, I'm guilty of the mainstream.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, I got to know them because of
But when
can't keep my hands to myself. From that song.
Okay, yeah. I like Portugal the Man. I like what are some new bands that I like?
What were those kids that were kicking ass over here? What was it? 5 Seconds or something, whatever they're called.
Oh, I didn't like them, but 1975.
They're like an old band.
1975.
Old as in like mainstream for a while.
Yeah.
There was also that one, the 1975.
Yes, have you heard them?
Right.
Sick.
They were kicking ass over here for a while.
They're still kicking butts here.
They changed though. I don't know what they're doing lately. They're doing more pop. Yeah.
Yeah, it became a bit more poppy, less 70s type of rock that they first like initially sounded. Like it was really good. That first album they released, Chocolate, banging.
Yeah, I like the 1975.
Yeah.
Back when they were new.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, me too.
See, the thing with bands is that I feel like maybe I'm just biased, but a lot of bands, it's very difficult for them to last more than like 3 albums for me. There are very few bands that last more than 3 albums. I guess that's for rappers too.
I think that's a natural cycle of music, no?
Right. There's actually a theory because like, you know, like for your first album, you had like what fucking like 25 years to write your first album.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then after that cycle gets shorter and shorter.
It's so true.
By the time you're on your 3rd album, it's like you ran out of shit. You're
running on a treadmill.
Right.
You're like a hamster on a wheel.
Right.
Because time does catch up. Yeah, but I also feel, don't you feel like especially with these bands then that, you know, they make a great first album, right? Maybe they made a first great album, and then, or maybe they sound a multi-album deal, right? And I also feel like when they sign, the first album's good because it was the more them that they could make,
right?
And then the second album, it kind of
it's like what the label wants.
Yeah, and then you start getting all these corporate hands involved.
Right,
you know, you start getting all these little monsters, and you have to do it like this or like that. So then it becomes a bit weird. And then obviously by the third album, if they don't plateau, it just declines, and it's so rough. It's so rough.
Right. And probably like the singer has his own manager now.
They're all big time.
They're traveling separately.
Yeah.
He has his own show.
It is so true. It's such a natural progression, though. It feels weird, but it's accurate.
Sad.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. That's why bands don't last, and hip hop artists do, I guess.
Well, it's also because
that solo style.
It's hard to have a band, man. It's so hard because
you see it in like rap groups as well. They go through this whole thing where the biggest example for me is Migos. They started as a group. And they naturally branch out into their own things. And
I feel lady, Migos is still together. They're still family. They still love each other.
I know, but I'm just saying that it naturally progresses into solo careers. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I don't know if you follow Danny. I don't know if you follow the YBN crew. YBM Corday, YBM Nami. They were like rappers.
Yeah.
I guess you can call it disbanded. They're no longer YBN. They're now just Corday or Nami.
They were very good though.
And I guess the reason there might be a better example than Migos, because Migos, I think the reason why they work is because they're family. So
bonding.
Yeah, the bonding is just a bit stronger. You know what I mean? They're family. But with other rap groups or them bands, it's just, I find it's one of the difficult things, because not only vision varies, and I'm sure you've experienced it writing the album. Everyone's vision seems to be different.
Right.
And then it's sort of, someone has to take that leadership position without being a dictator, but also being a good leader and setting up the right path, or a path at least, not the right one, but a path.
Yeah.
And
and also, like, I sometimes think, because I don't have anybody to like ask or mentor me.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the great bands, they had to like compromise within the band, because like I'm sure they did.
Absolutely.
More times than not.
Like, like somebody didn't like the sound, but they were like, well, if the rest of bands liking it, then like, what can I do? Right. So like there's parts where it's not just
no, sorry, are we frozen?
I thought we were frozen for a sec.
Oh yeah. There's parts where like, you think it's more about politics or
dynamics, like social dynamics,
keeping harmony, like dealing with people more than the music itself. Because it's like, you don't want to hurt this guy's feelings, so you're like, oh, I don't like this shitty part, but I'm just gonna keep it anyways, because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Well,
you want to keep the band together.
Yeah. It's like dealing with stuff. It's so weird.
Right.
The Free Nationals did a small documentary on YouTube, on their YouTube channel.
The Anderson .Paaks.
Yeah, they're Anderson .Paaks band, and they do funky stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But they did they released a documentary late December, right at the end of the year. And it was really interesting because they talked a lot about their social dynamics and how much pressure and crashes and different personalities clashed in the tours and stuff. And it was very enlightening to see that side of what it's like to be in a band, because if you've never been in a band, you really don't know what the actual social dynamics, how much they influence what happens in the music.
And then, brother, add they're on a completely different level, than anyone we know. But add the millions of dollars, add the millions of eyes constantly, add the corporate pressure, the label pressure. It must be crazy.
Yeah, and all of that put them in a little bus and tour around the country. Like nuts.
I mean, they're Anderson .Paaks band, when he plays live.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is he part of the band? Because I saw Anderson .Paak live, and like, he had all the band members. But is he part of the band?
So Free Nationals started with Anderson .Paak, but then he went solo, and he sometimes comes in and out of Free Nationals.
Okay.
But the Free Nationals, they find other vocalists and collaborate and stuff.
They seem to be on good terms though, Anderson and them.
Yeah, they're in a really good brotherhood type of stuff.
Right. I'm just curious whether they travel on the same bus. Like
Yeah,
when Anderson Paak comes, I mean, he's Anderson Paak.
exactly,
You can't be
exactly.
fucking traveling alone, traveling in together in a shitty coach bus. You know
No,
what I mean?
that's the thing. No, here's the thing. They've got this sick bus. Like their bus looks like
Okay, so they're a
hotel
good
is
bus. Yeah.
sick. But watch the documentary. I'll send it to you.
Okay,
It's
okay,
so
okay.
freaking cool. And it's only like 20 minutes as well. It's like
Uh-huh.
a small clip. But it's a very good insight of what it's like to tour with
Mm,
6 other people that
right.
are not family. You're not
Oh, I'm
related to them,
excited already.
but there is so much pressure on the delivery, the work ethic.
Right.
Everything has to be so clinical cut, and there's really no space for, I hate you today, but this still
Right.
happens. And it's really interesting how they handle that stuff. I found it incredibly enlightening.
Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like running a company, but
Mm.
without official positions. I think that makes it even more tough. Cause like instead of like, oh, I'm the songwriter. Well, that happens in some bands, but instead of like I'm in charge of this, it's more like you kind of have to figure things out by reading the room.
That is so
You
true.
know, and, and then shit gets very gray because like you have no official power,
Mm.
but you try to like use that power in your advantage.
That
So
that that
it's
may help though, like having a from the minimal experience we've had in both junior and I guess teenage bands, bands that are turned 11, 10 years old. I guess what you mentioned there, you nailed it on the head, but it does help when they're clear positions.
I was gonna
So like
say
this person is the director, this person,
communication is key in
like
that
it
matter.
really did seem to help. But even in TV shows, when we were on TV shows, we were only the talent, so we didn't really see the much of the behind the scenes of the
right,
board meetings
right,
or any
Like
of
the
this stuff,
politics
the
that goes
politics
behind it.
aspect of it. But it really did help to have someone who you knew, this is the
right,
creative writer, this is the person who
right,
writes the
right,
jokes or who writes the music, this is the
right.
the choreographer, this is the visual director, this is the big boss, like this is Danny,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And then this is
right.
Waleska and this is Ephra, and they just the Muppets, and then he's the big man. So he says this
Calling
goes
the
this.
shots, exactly.
So in bands, especially music, because dude, I don't want to throw shade out because I'm one myself, but musicians have very peculiar ways of seeing the planet because they're creatives, and also they want to try and put the best
Of
music that they
them.
can make. So there's
Mhm.
already pressure within themselves. There's already pressure within us. So it's the social situation is not like a date. It's not like hanging out with friends. It's not like going
Right.
out to watch a movie. It's different. It's a weird, fucking strange moment. But I felt it really did help in the bands we were on when you knew
Mm,
who was who.
Exactly.
right.
Communication is always key. Like I feel like sometimes going out with your bandmates and for like hot dogs or whatever and beer is and talk about how they feel in the band and where do they feel more comfortable. Natural positions will come,
Yeah.
and everybody will feel comfortable in their own places. And communication is key when it comes to that, especially when you're working with more than 2 other people,
It's rough. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm,
rough.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
uh, at least that helped.
And maybe who knows, brother?
Yeah.
I know you're doing it because you want to have an outlet and for fun. But who knows? Maybe one day you'll be touring or
I mean, that's when the real drama starts. Because we're
You
making
bet.
money now. then the real drama starts. Because like right now, because we're not making money, no one cares. You know,
Yeah,
it's like yeah, you have all the power you want, like,
it's like
but
whatever.
Yeah, what
but
happens when
once
they say
money's
check and you gotta
involved,
split it, right? You gotta be like,
right,
oh fuck, here we go. You know what I mean?
right, yeah. I mean, like same for YouTube. Honestly,
Yeah.
before we had money on YouTube on our YouTube channel, my relationship with David was a lot better. I'm not saying it's bad now, but it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Um,
it's
like
it's a
because
it's a
because
work
there was no.
dynamic.
You're right. Before we had money, like before money was coming in, we were just doing it for fun, and we didn't really care about like who's getting what or anything like that. But once like a significant amount of money comes in, enough to make a living, then like we get a little bit different attitudes
Of course.
Because you
towards each
gotta pay
other.
your bills, Danny, and so
Right,
does he.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean? And like you have, and you want a nice place, or maybe you want to have a
right,
beer, but you're also
right.
investing all this time. I guess when it's everything's for free, it's like there's a clear conclusion. This leads to no money, so we do it for
Exactly.
fun. But then when
Right.
there's money involved, it's really peculiar how
Right.
really people do
Right.
seem to just like kind of twist a bit,
Of course,
Right.
and I think it's a natural evolution too. I don't think it's a nasty change. I think it's a
Yeah.
natural evolution of what work actually can progress into. And I feel like you guys are lucky that you were really good friends beforehand, So like the natural evolution didn't seem to
How how
uh
how long how long? Sorry to interrupt,
no,
buddy.
it's okay.
How long have you guys been doing YouTube?
4.5 years.
That's a long
And they
time.
turned
4.5
serious
years.
within 3 years. Within a year.
Within the first year, yeah.
Right.
After the first year, I was like, I want to do this full time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he kind of agreed, and then
Yeah. He said, let's see a year through, and then a year became 2 years, 3 years, and now.
And now you're here.
So right. So we're in this shit deep.
and now you're here, and now you're here out here hiring people.
Right.
Damn.
So success, I
Yes,
guess.
inspiration, man. Very, very inspiring. I'm serious.
Thank
Very,
you.
very inspiring. Yeah. I mean, I really do wish you guys all the best, and
Thank you.
I hope that the future projects work out the best they possibly could. And once again, man, you got all of our support. It's not much, but we try our best, and all of our support you have it with you.
Thank you very much. Is this the end? Are we like?
No, we can talk as long as you want to.
It did
No.
it did sound like the end of the story, right?
Yeah. Well,
So-
thank you guys. Subscribe.
See you later.
DKDKTV.
Bro,
Please subscribe.
It's been so like weird, because again we're pretty new at the whole YouTube stuff, and I feel it's been unbelievable with the growth and stuff like that, and it's so weird how you see other YouTubers and they do the whole like and subscribe and all this stuff, and I'm like, fuck, the first time I said that, I'm like, wow, I'm really part of this shit now. I'm really doing.
That's when you know you're part of the team.
Yeah.
You're in the club.
It's funny. The other day, I was talking to some of my friends, and they were like, "Oh, I just don't understand you anymore because you went to YouTube school." And I was like, "No, that's not true. You just kind of learn on the go."
Do your friends treat you differently now that you're doing YouTube?
Not at all. They not at all. Not even one bit. I have a very small group of friends, so they're very close, and it really nothing has changed. They actually make fun of me more than anything else, to be fair. Is the roasting.
Same here.
Nothing different.
I think maybe because Danny, maybe he hasn't hit that level yet where it would
like we're like ultra famous, like Casey Neistat.
Basically.
or where you're earning, I don't know, 6 figures, and then you start having a nice car, and then you change play, and then
like we get a mansion. Yeah. Once we get that level, I think maybe
people might treat us different.
Differently. I'm not there yet.
I don't know though, because your close friends are your close friends. They obviously have seen you do the whole thing. They've seen you work really hard and be a hermit.
well my friends were discouraging at the start.
Really?
Well, everybody was, because like YouTube's like
such a big
was not a big thing in Korea when I started. So people were like, what are you doing? Can you make money off of this shit? But once like we got the ball rolling, then people were regretting that they didn't start YouTube. So in your face, I guess.
Guess who's paying for beer now?
I think it's also like I've said it before with other, especially artists, because artists, I think, make the biggest leap in this whole idea of, I'm gonna quit my job, I'm gonna try and make music, or I quit my job and I make YouTube, I'm gonna quit my job and be a model or whatever. And I find calculated risk is probably the best the best direction. You know, you're a good example of that. You had your major degree, you majored in media. Actually, the relationship that has made you money now and is your partner in workplace came from college, right? So I guess it's calculated risk, but it is funny how sometimes when you say something outlandish, because uh, YouTube here is, you know, it's huge because you have these personas like the Logan Pauls in America that make millions and trillions, and you have the Jacksepticeye's, you know, the gamers here that live in Brighton, and so people kind of now know like you could make a living out of YouTube, but they also kind of know that these guys are such an anomaly.
Also true.
That's true. Yeah.
But it's, man, I can't believe you got discouraged. But now
that is so funny.
Look at you.
What?
Because when
that shit breaks my heart, man. What the fuck?
Yeah. What the hell? We got your back. When I left my job to pursue like social media, like you know, at YouTube, my boss was like, "That's amazing. Well done. Good luck. Bye." You know, she was really nice about it. She was like, "Oh, fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing your videos."
but people in the industry, in the theater industry, not
very
so nice.
Skeptical. Very, very skeptical. They were like,
and we have like those. A lot of people there are snobby. Like a lot of people in the older industry, like I have a lot of friends in the TV industry, and TV people are snobby too. They're like, internet video shit. Like you're not gonna make any money doing this shit. So I feel like it's just like the natural way of things where we have this new thing, new media, and people working in older jobs are very skeptical of it, and they also feel in some sense threatened by it. You know,
it's possible.
And at the same time, I also feel like, you know, people working on YouTube, I don't know if it's like this outside of Korea, but like at least in Korea, like it's very difficult to become a TV producer, get a job as a TV producer. So there's some sort of elitism among TV producers, because they're like, oh, well, this is a harder job to get. Like anybody can become a YouTuber, which is true, right? So so I think among YouTubers, we also have this thought in our head, like, oh shit, anybody could become, you know, one of us. Like I'm not somebody who's like, I was just fucking lucky.
Yes,
right. I always have that thought in my head too. I always think like I got super lucky.
I don't think that's true. I think now, let's be honest, the whole I know you guys spend a lot of hours editing. I know you guys have cried editing videos, because I have. Hours on it.
I cried many times.
There you go. That is not luck. That is hard work and dedication.
And also the difficulty, Danny, with YouTube that I'm observing, it's that you're kind of always at the mercy of YouTube.
And like
right. Like, you have no control of your fate.
It's not even people. Like it's mainly you're at the mercy of YouTube. And these TV producers, their income, this is your income. This is what you do. Go home, have a mortgage. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might be stressed, all of this stuff, bloody bladder. Welcome to life, son. But in YouTube, it seems you're kind of at the you know, the whole CPM system, the whole algorithm stuff, the whole notification.
We're on a leash. We're all on a leash.
Yeah, so it's not as easy as actually it's not easy at all, actually. And there is some fortune involved. I think that's probably the more humble way of looking at it. You know, like there is some luck involved, of course, and some fortune, but the hours that I observe this one, and I'm sure you guys put in, especially because your content it's so, you know, it's edited and you put out such large pieces of content that require research as well. So I'm sure there's been a lot of tears and blood and sweat. So
it's a lot of people think it's easy, but it's not. But at the same time, I know that I'm lucky. I honestly think I'm lucky to have come this far. So go subscribe to DKDK.
Go do it. The link will be
DKDK. Right now, let's go.
You guys also got your Patreon going on. You do like an extra show on Patreon as well?
Yeah, we do. We have a very big Patreon community. So patreon.com/DKDKTV.
Go check it out, y'all. Check it out. So what do you guys?
I mean, subscribe first.
Subscribe
get a
first.
right?
Tell us about what happens on the Patreon though. Like, what type of content goes out on there?
Oh, we say shit that we can't say on YouTube.
Fair enough. I love
a lot
that.
of the behind the scenes, industry insider info that I receive from my industry insider friends.
Amazing.
I just share in a legal way, where I don't name any names.
Mm-hmm.
But I make it so that you guys know who I'm talking about.
I love it.
But I never name names.
By the power of deduction, we can find out who Danny is exposing.
That's amazing.
It's funny though. Like
that's another thing here on YouTube. There, like the whole like censorship. Like
right.
you really can't say certain things.
Okay, that's a conversation and a half. Yeah,
right. Well, I just don't want to get sued. I have no money to get into a lawsuit, so
that's clever.
I think even if anyone had the money, if you can avoid a lawsuit,
right,
for it.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me that because I follow some of the news and stuff like that. Very briefly, I'm not a big fan of actually watching the news. I find the stress it puts on me is nuts, and I can't. I don't know. But when I watch the news, especially in the entertainment industry, like what you guys cover in Korea, I'm usually either watching it through you guys or maybe people send me articles and stuff. And it really does seem, man, like in the Korean industry, just because I also find because there's so many groups, big dogs in the industry, there's such a power money making place.
Right.
That is just drama left and right and news break every day. And
that's good for us.
Fantastic for you.
Brilliant for you, fellas.
Content every single day.
Yes,
absolutely.
Brilliant for you, fellas. But it's astonishing how much stuff happens over there.
I think it happens in every industry, though.
I think it happens in every entertainment industry. It's just like different types of drama, I guess. Like, in America, I don't know, like in the US, what kind of drama there is. Probably like people going to prison.
Yeah.
Right.
And
or
what's that? Tekashi 6ix9ine ratting people out in prison, shit like that. It's a little bit more hardcore.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas in Korea, it's like, she put up this hashtag that's like shading somebody, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, how dare she? Like that. I think Korean entertainment drama is a lot more high school drama.
Right. I love it.
Softcore.
Compared to a lot of the shit coming from America.
It makes for great entertainment.
Sounds
bad.
Right, yeah. I like high school drama, honestly.
But it's nice. From time to time,
Right.
Guilty pleasure there.
No,
honestly, and the I feel also the when you look at the drama side of things, it all always goes down to personal opinion, and that's really great matter, especially if you're trying to like
that's why it's interesting, right?
Yeah, like
that's what I like
out there.
Yeah.
That's
I like voicing my opinion, but the fans don't like it a lot of times.
Danny, you obviously well versed in this matter. We were covering. People were asking us about GOT7, leaving JYP and all this stuff, and I'm very let's say what would be a better word than ignorant, but obviously not very well versed in the label system in Korea. It intrigues me a lot. Right. And when the general consensus in a comment section and the messages we were getting from the podcast we did, kind of checking out the news article of GOT7 leaving JYP and all this stuff, is that people were kind of expecting it, right? Like they were just it was kind of
right.
The fans were, this was a natural progression because of the, I guess, people felt they were mistreated in the label. And
yeah, there's a lot of different factors to it. So first of all, like in the Korean law, idol, like artist contracts can only be up to 7 years.
Okay.
For the label. So basically, like GOT7 debuted under JYP, and so they had a 7-year contract. And when the 7-year contract's up, like you can renew the contract for how many years you want, up to 7 years, or leave. And leading up to like the later years of their contract, a lot of GOT7 fans felt like they were not being properly promoted. So a lot of people expected GOT7 to leave once they had their contracts up, and that's what happened. Like honestly though, like the chances of re-signing a contract are lower than signing than leaving. So like most idols just leave the group after their contracts are done. So it's to be expected.
I see. So that's why everyone was kind of like, yeah, it wasn't that big of a
Yeah,
surprise.
yeah.
I see.
Where do you personally stand on that?
What's what's JYP's general like opinion, like as a label in Korea?
Honestly, I'm not well versed in GOT7 either. So I don't really know whether they were mistreated or not. But I feel like you know, among K-pop labels, you know, the bigger companies, the big four we say, JYP, YG, SM, and Big Hit.
Right.
Like if you're going to any one of those companies, then you're way better off than really most companies in K-pop. So even if they're shitty, like on your standards, like they're probably better than other companies, and that's just my thought. And yeah, I really have no opinion on GOT7. Actually, I got canceled by GOT7 fans a few days ago because I said I will cut off my balls if GOT7 continues as a group.
We don't like them.
I was so certain, and apparently they're not terming it as disbanding, so they're leaving that door open.
Yeah. Because I think they still have the rights to the name.
Yeah, I think they kept the rights to the name.
I think so too. So like all the articles I've seen say that they have the rights to their name. So they're leaving that door open, but at the same time they're all going to separate companies. So even if it's not disbanding, it's going to be very difficult for them to come together
as a group,
and coordinate a reunion or continuing of group activities. There's a lot of cases in K-pop where they never say they disband, but they never come back together.
Right.
So yeah,
that's also another scary thing that I've been reading up about lately. Like a lot of, especially in the K-pop world, a lot of new groups debut all the time, and a lot of them are never successful, and they just these are a bunch of people's dreams gone, right? But at least they tried. And I think I was watching this interview of this lady that she went to Korea, and she trained as she was a trainee for, I don't know what label it was. I think it might have been YG or something like that. And she just never debuted. Like the group of ladies she was with never debuted, and she trained for like 4 years over there. And
4 years is nothing in K-pop though.
Yeah,
like that's the average, right? And
there's some kids that start like at 11, right? And they just go.
They debuted when they're 20. Yeah.
Right. Like it's fucking crazy. It's kind of like if you think about like the Olympics system in like Soviet Union. You know how they like go into like the Olympics training center at like age 6, and all you do is fucking gymnastics all day.
Yeah. China's kind of similar. They also just
right.
Bam, that's
kind of like that. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for those people because, you know, I don't think as a kid, you know, when I was like 10, I would not be, I don't want to go to fucking school. I can't imagine like them going to that rigorous training system.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of idols, like even if they debut, like 95% of them will fail.
It's a ruthless industry.
Right. But the worst factor is that like a lot of trainees, like 90% of them will never debut. So it's like a very big filter that they gotta go overstep. So very sad.
It is.
It is sad.
It's terribly sad.
That's why it's more impressive when they make it.
And I actually think that happens here too, though, in
Right.
the performing arts side of things. You gotta go through training before,
Right.
obviously 4 years max, 5 years, maybe six if you do a master's degree and whatever else you choose to do in arts. uh but that's it, you're professional when you go out.
This is in the theater scene.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
you're eligible for professional work once you finish your training. There
But
is
there's
there is
no
literally nothing set in
guaranteed.
stone. Like, exactly, you don't get signed with anybody. If you get picked by an agency, good luck in getting any jobs. It's all about who you know, where you go,
Right.
and it becomes a very tight little circle, and to get through that bubble, you gotta like axe and picks your way through it. It's like going through a mine. um but it's a very hard industry, and a lot of people give up, go into accounting, give up and just find other things to do. And
Yeah.
and somehow, in a little percentage, I kind of relate a little bit to the whole training system, in Korea, just a tiny bit.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's very similar actually to what you're talking about. And I think the biggest problem is like, I guess these kids, they barely go to school and they train for what, like 5 years, 8 years throughout their youth, and all the like social circles they have are with adults. Like when they're
Mhm.
growing up, they're with their trainee competitors, and also they're just talking to like adult producers, and it's a completely different growing up environment. So like a lot of times they don't develop like social skills, or they
Mhm.
don't develop the enough foundations to do something else. So that's when a lot of the dirty, like dark shit happens, because like what if you fail? Then you don't know
Yeah,
how to do anything.
it is so
Right?
true.
Except for dance. And but the thing is like, I think the dance that you learn in those idol training systems, it's not like something that's acknowledged, I guess, in those like contemporary art schools or something like that.
Right.
I think there's a completely different world, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, what are you gonna do now once you fail? And that's a big problem that we have in
It's the
the
same in
industry.
sports, man. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when you see I noticed it's interesting you mentioned it, especially the social aspect of it. When you see these kids grow up in an academy, I didn't go through the academy system when I was a junior, so I wasn't 3 years old. I didn't grow up with a racket when I was 3 years old, and then trained until I was 22 in an academy
Right,
system.
right.
But I met plenty of fellas that did, and I saw the sad bit is I saw the next generation coming out even worse regarding
Social
social
dynamics
dynamic
and
skills, and
interaction.
the
Ah,
idea that they feel when you're in the academy, and I'd imagine it's probably the same in the theater system and the
Absolutely.
idol system, training system, you feel like that bubble that you live on is
That's the world.
everything that matters.
yeah, it's the world.
But then
Hmm.
it turns out there's a whole other planet that
Right,
actually
right.
doesn't care if you can do a 360 pirouette.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, or it doesn't care if you can hit a forehand or a serve at 120
Right,
miles per
right.
hour. Who cares, mate? But these people, and I'm guilty as charged. I grew up in this environment. The thing is, I went in the environment when I was already past the age of 15. So I
Hmm.
kind of knew there's women, there's parties, there's dancing for fun, there is playing for fun, there is going out for fun, there's jobs, there's money. But these kids that were three didn't, and you could tell.
Right,
And I was like,
right,
damn, like this kid was never in a classroom. This kid was never picked
right,
on in school. This kid was never saying jokes to the teacher, or,
right.
or going to a house party. Uh,
It's very sad.
is
Like they
is
have no childhood,
is rough,
Yeah,
right?
it's very
rough.
weird. I think it makes for fantastic artists,
The
but it
Also
at a
very
very high expense.
what price?
right, right, right. And actually, like, we have a figure skater, who's like an Olympic athlete, that like a Olympic legend. Her name is Kim Yona. I don't know if you guys know her, but like she's like Olympic legend, like Korea's favorite female athlete
Nice.
in history. And what her mom did was,
Wow.
figure skating is not a popular sport in Korea, so
Okay.
there's not a lot of ice rinks here. And basically, her mom would take her after school to like the to the rink, and because they have to share the rink, like
Okay.
they didn't have a dedicated time slot for her, except for like past midnight.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
fuck.
So like she would like warm up, skate, and then like after like until like 2 a.m. because
Whew.
her practice time was so limited. So like basically that's all she did, and like she had to travel around the world for the competitions, not go to school.
Yeah.
And at the very end of her career, she retired after like 2 Olympics, and at the very end of her career she was like, I do not want to figure skate ever again.
Yeah, I bet.
Because she fucking hated it. Like she
Yeah.
said, like she's like, I don't like this. I'm not like doing this because like this is fucking art for me. It's like it's my job. I'm doing it, but I'm never gonna do it again.
And the funny thing is, I bet she probably not gonna. I notice when it's really serious, like their experiences really mark them. When you see their kids and they're not encouraging at all for them to go into that profession.
Right.
You know, because they really wish that upon anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
had a
it's-
friend. I had a friend who she was a prima ballerina here in the Royal Ballet. And you know, she had a very successful career here, and you know, she traveled to Russia, all of like Vienna, blah blah blah, and she got married, had a kid, and her kid, like when she was like 4 or 5, she said to her mom, "Mom, I want to dance ballet," and she was like, "Never, never, you're never gonna do that. Sit down, go play with your Barbies."
It's kind of weird because like I think musician parents aren't like that,
No.
but all the other parents, like athlete parents, are definitely like that. Yeah, I think a lot of athlete parents are especially like that. Especially like the athletes that were like not, I guess, successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Even
feel like that.
even the ones that were successful but not at the world class level, like, you know, because that's the other thing, right? And you probably know this with music, like there's so many levels to the game, like
Right.
it really just goes bam 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 bam, and then there's this completely different breed of people. It's the same with sports, like you know, one of the most interesting examples to me is Andre Agassi, you know, the old tennis player.
The tennis player, yeah.
He in his autobiography, in his book, he says that he never liked tennis. He never did. He just always went because his parents always made him. And when you go every day and you train 3 hours a day, you will become good at it because it's hitting a fluffy yellow ball back and forth, and you become good at it sooner or later. And the thing that clicked with him is that, oh, I can make money out of this and I can build a career out of this, and I can be in a better position than my parents were when I went to tennis, when they put me to tennis. So that was more the motivating factor rather than the love for it, you know?
Very interesting. Because like when I'm growing up, I thought of all these athletes as they love their job, you know. but if you think about it, like it's kind of like their parents chose their job for them.
To some extent.
To a certain point.
For a lot of them, it's like, you know, it's just another job, like accounting, you know.
Exactly.
It's just that their parents chose their job for them when they thought they were good at it.
You know what's crazy, Danny, is that if someone was to ask me, what can I do for my kid to become a pro tennis player, or what can I do for my kid to become a great musician, I would always say, I basically made the pact with the devil. I would always say, start them off early, 3-4 years old.
Ooh.
Do it. It's the only way.
And just do it every single day.
Do it. Wow. But what I would say to them is actually, you know, don't make the same mistakes that other parents have. And I mean, who am I to tell you how to fucking advise your kid or parent your kid? I'm just a fool in a couch. But you have to, especially with kids, it sounds cliche, but the enjoyment aspect of it has to be paramount, because when they're 13, 12, they're not gonna remember the good times. They're only gonna remember the bad times. The times where you shouted at the kid because he missed a forehand, or the times where you weren't practicing piano and you went to play your PS4 and your mom hit you. That's the times you're gonna remember when you're 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And the dropout rate in tennis is at 16 years old, because especially in the male world, because you find out there's girls and you find out there's parties and you find out there's another world outside of tennis. And so
what do you do then, like as a parent? Do you like take away their phone?
No, yeah, exactly. So
go back to the course.
Fucking play tennis.
Yeah. So that's it's such a difficult. I don't know what I would do. You know, when I decide to have kids, if my little creature decides to, I don't know, play tennis, I'll definitely be encouraging about it. But if it does decide to drop out, it's like, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, especially at 16, because especially here in London at 16, you're kind of considered, you can drive and you can you no longer have to, you're no longer legally bounded to be in school.
So like you're kind of choosing your life choices.
Yeah, you're kind of considered semi adult. You still can't buy alcohol, but semi adult. So I guess it just shows that whatever experience he had for the last 15 years of his life or her life may not be worth the next 15 years. So that tells you something about the kid, and maybe the way you brought him up, or maybe the way that he sees the world. Because at the end of the day, like, I don't know, man. I've noticed it before where they do that, that you mentioned. Take off the phone, go back on the court, practice. Or you have no idea how privileged you are, because when you're 16, if you want to be someone at 16, you should have already been traveling the world playing tennis, or good at a national level.
Do you see parents like realize that their kid's not as good as they thought he would be?
I've seen it in arts. I've seen it in arts.
Like, what's the dialogue like, as you know, as an instructor? You know, I think you know, when you see somebody have it, you know they have it. But a lot of times, you know, like when someone doesn't have it as well, right?
Yeah.
And the parents are very enthusiastic, or you know, their friends are enthusiastic, they themselves are enthusiastic, and like, this kid wants to play tennis as a living, but you know they can't. What do you tell them?
So to interrupt your train of thought, Bale, but that's an interesting one, because tennis, especially with the discipline of tennis, muscle memory is key. Muscle memory can be taught with no talent. So you literally can be one of the less talented tennis players out there in the world. You could still make it on the pro tour if you have got the foundations ingrained in your being, but you might not be the most naturally coordinated person. Now, the talent bit comes in at the highest level. So will you be number one in the world? That's the question that matters, right? So if the parents ask me, you know, I'm not a professional coach. I've just been involved in the world for so long, but I've seen it where they ask this elite coach, and will my kid, you think he'll be top 10 in the world, number one in the world? And then the coach, that's when he has to be serious and no longer be encouraging, and be like, really analyze the kid and be like, it's likely that he could make it to this level, or it's likely that you could make it to this level. But with tennis specifically, it's very peculiar, Danny, because
interesting.
Not only are they levels to the game, but it's one of those sports where natural ability definitely helps, but it's just such a consistently hard working sport for so many hours that anyone
averages out.
Yeah, that anyone could literally make it to a great level. What you actually need more, rather than ability, are resources. You need a lot of resources when it comes to tennis, because it's so many hours and so much
investment. It's an investment
into people, experts that can analyze technique, and not so much experts that can analyze if you have the genetic gene to be a great tennis player. So
very interesting.
Tennis is might be a rough one. Maybe encouragement is the best, I'm trying to say, for tennis.
That's a good answer for a coach.
In arts is different though. In arts is more like you can see the kid.
You'd probably agree more with this.
You can see, like, I'm sure, what do I know? But you can see some kids that just naturally have the talent, and then some others Yeah, and some others that just naturally work really hard to get to that point. And
Right.
and I've always been a believer that if you're not if you don't have the natural talent, you can still balance it out by a lot of hard work and putting a lot of time into it. But then you got parents who think their kids are have the
Talented.
yeah have the it factor, and the kid doesn't want to put in the work.
It's a prima donna.
And you gotta be realistic. You gotta, I'm sorry to break it to you, but if he doesn't work or
Right.
she doesn't work, then this is not gonna work out. At least that's an often that's something that happens often in arts, in performing arts. I don't know, obviously not the same in sports, but yeah, that's something that you encounter often.
Huh. Very interesting. I think you see it on YouTube too. a
I
lot
think
of
so
a lot
too.
of channels you kind of know beforehand, like, oh shit, like this is gonna like blow up.
Yeah.
I kind of can sense that now. Like when I see small channels that are about to blow up, like I know, like okay, well this guy is gonna become big.
Yep.
Um, and then I know like there are channels that are like this person's never gonna get big.
But
Sadly,
yeah,
but like I think in any field you can kind of see that, um,
that's true.
and it's really tough
What are
to
factors that you think, for example, again, you've been in you have the
right.
eye, you're saying. So what do you think are factors, for example, for maybe channels that are growing or people that can kind of strive
Well,
for to, or what are things that you think are the it factor in YouTube?
I think knowing what, well, this is a very cliche answer, but knowing what the audience wants, like being able to pinpoint, not just like making videos in the general sense, but being able to pinpoint exactly what a certain part of the YouTube audience, like your audience, wants,
Hmm.
and being able to pick the right topics that pinpoint that
Right.
audience is the most important. So like, for example, there's this YouTube channel that got super big over the past year or so, and in Korea, and this guy, he his whole channel's concept is that he finds out answers for the randomest questions that you had in your head, but are not important enough for you to try to find out, but he will
Okay.
try to find out.
Like, how do they put the toothpaste in the tube and it still has the fucking color?
Shit like that. Actually,
That's
like he
funny.
he actually does shit like that though. Like, so for example, like what will happen if I stay in, the mall long enough? Will the security be able to find
Oh,
me
for
like
God's sake!
overnight? Like shit like that. That's
That's
like no
great.
one's really curious about, but they're kind of curious about.
No, everybody's thought of it, but nobody's actually
Right,
done
right,
it.
right, right.
Yeah.
Nobody's actually done it, but nobody like really wants to Google it. It's like
Yeah.
very stupid questions. But he does those videos every single day.
That
So
Wow.
is
this guy,
crazy.
and those type of questions. So like when I saw him, his videos pinpoint an exact, type of audience, and he exactly knows what people want.
Yep.
And I think that's really important. Like instead of just trying to like get a broad stroke of the audience, knowing exactly what your audience wants is when I see someone and I say like, they have it.
It's
They're
the
gonna get
same marketing mentality. You see this a lot in marketers when they speak about advertisement
I'll be back in a sec. Just give me a
techniques.
second.
Yeah, go for it, mate. It's the same of you're finding your niche. That sort of mentality of figuring out who you're actually talking to, right? And
right, right.
just
You don't want to
laser
be like
focus on those.
you don't want to be like talking to a general audience. You want like your exact demographic. And a lot of like, I think YouTube channels that never really blow up, they're usually in the fault of being too broad with their audience. I think like they want to get everybody. um I mean, we had a phase like that too, where we tried a lot of different things to try to get everybody, but then we just realized like that's not what YouTube's about. people subscribe to channels because they want to find about a specific thing. Unless you're like someone that is very, personable and someone who is like a personality. But I'm not that big of a personality, so I just try to bring the news. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely aced it in your case, because it's so, it's news specific to a specific crowd that may interest a specific crowd. I don't know how many people that may not know about K-pop or the Korean industry would be interested in.
I don't think they would be interested.
Absolutely not. So it's this idea that it's just confusing, isn't it? Because you see people, as you mentioned, you see personalities like the PewDiePies, the huge, the monsters, right? And these are the ones that people remember. And they have millions of people that have different interests, but he has become so much of a beacon of entertainment that people congregate to him, not because of their interests, it's because of him. That's the ultimate level, right? I think that's the level that everyone is kind of aspiring to be, where people tune in because it's Danny, people tune in because it's Ephra or Waleska, not just because he's talking about the new cool Adidas shoes. You know what I mean?
But that's like the most difficult level in the game.
Absolutely. And
I truly think like you said, like, how not everybody can become number one. I think like that level of the game in the YouTube space is definitely like you gotta have some natural talent.
Yeah, you need that factor, as you mentioned it.
Right. That isn't achievable by everybody. I think like, what I just said, like catering towards a very specific audience. With that, like I think with research you could probably reach some levels of success, but like becoming an actual personality that's like PewDiePie, you gotta have some natural talent.
Well, it also took him 10 years, right? So it's a combination of both. But I think what's motivate. We were just talking about how in YouTube it seems only the number ones are people that have what they have in common is a personality. They're really an attractive personality, entertaining personality.
Yeah.
But what's motivating, I guess, and it can be motivating for a lot of people, is that you actually don't need to be number one to make a living, have a great audience, to have pride of your work, and lead a great life that can also inspire other people, and also you can build something great without having to be number one.
I agree.
We're like 50,000th my channel on YouTube, and we make a great living too. So
no, definitely.
So it's okay, guys. Try YouTube.
It's YouTube. No, listen.
Have you seen that number of the amount of channels? We checked it out on the New Year's podcast we did on obviously in 2020 in the New Year's Eve. It was like the amount of channels that had reached over 1 million subscribers in 2020. It was like
how many?
I can't fucking remember.
It was like 200,000.
No. It was
what?
No. It was in YouTube. There's over 20,000 channels that have 1 million subscribers.
That was it. Yeah.
Holy shit!
That's a lot of people.
Obviously, it's like 90,000 plus that have over 100,000 subscribers. But I couldn't remember how many in 2020, because it was the narrative of 2020 was a horrible year for lots of people, but it was also a great year for online creators. But I can't remember the number. I think it was like 1,000 something, dude. It was fucking insane. I'm like, what? 1,000? And I mean, it's over 20. I think it's over 25,000 people that have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube right now.
Damn.
Damn.
That's a high mountain to climb.
It is.
Yeah.
Not impossible though. I find those numbers inspiring. If 25,000 people did it, brother, I mean, why not us?
Why couldn't we be on the 25,000?
Let's meet at 1 million.
Yeah, let's meet at 1 million.
Hopefully next time we see each other, this one is golden.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
brother. It's
thank you. No, I was just gonna say
been awesome.
thank you.
I actually have to
much.
deliver.
Yeah,
I actually
you.
have to drop off a package. So
Okay.
I'd love to talk to you.
I have to leave too. So
that's all right. Thank you so much for your time coming on. Guys, go check out DKDK TV, subscribe, check out their stuff. And if you have anything that you want to, promote or share, this is the moment for you.
when's this coming out?
This will come out tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Oh shit, that's a quick turnaround. Nothing to promote. Just subscribe to DKDK TV. We do a lot of K-pop news and give you some insights on K-pop that other channels, except for maybe yours, don't provide.
What I was gonna say, Danny.
What?
No, go. If you want, if you have something lined up this week or the week after, we can release it later if you want us to.
No, I'm fine. I'm just wondering because we have like other stuff that's coming up like in a month or so, but like that's too far off.
Yeah, it's too far.
So well, you can come back and say it again if you want to.
Anytime, man. Again, our doors are completely open to you now, and as I said, you really have our full support, and I'm sure people watching the podcast are familiar with your work, and I think maybe hopefully what can happen is maybe someone watching can get in touch and talk to you about creating on your channel and being hired by you guys. Hopefully.
Hiring producers. So please hit us up at our business email, and yeah, that's about it.
All right,
thank you for having us. Having me.
Danny, awesome stuff, man.
Pleasure stuff. Thank you.
See you in a bit, brother.
See ya. Take care.
Thank you.